We just talked about last week on the show, the Watkins Glen. You could go into Watkins Glen, into the bus stop, take a right, and essentially not even be on the racetrack.
Yes.
Completely use the rumple strips as your means to go the fastest, and that's not good.
Well, I don't know. Robbie Gordon made it work for years.
So we have this thing out here that is to prevent you from swinging way wide and using more of the track that's not really a track, it's a runoff, in order to go faster. So when I saw him take, I thought it was awesome. I know that's going to piss people off. I thought it was awesome. I was pissed off they took it up, and I was like, well, they just took out a variable from the racetrack that could make Sunday really exciting. Well, hold my beer. We don't need a turtle. Watch this rumple strip beat this turtle's ass, right? I mean, you got a $7 rumple strip, as Lenny said, that costs teams millions of dollars. But Casey, removing the turtle, I was like, why? I don't want you to remove the turtle.
So spot off.
I'm spot off.
For the wrong reason.
Unfortunately for the Xfinity guys, and we've seen this before with, the Roval at Charlotte, where the chicane was placed the first time, guys were destroying their race cars. My guy being one of them. So then they had to
he was the first one.
I think Jonesy was the first one, and then we did it maybe a little bit worse the next time. Yeah. So they realized, okay, we got to move it. I think the track was just too narrow at that point of the racetrack that. Yeah, it was there all weekend before that, but nobody raced through there before that. It was, single car practice runs, you had room. But once you send guys through there 2 and sometimes 3 wide, you're just going to cause more problems by having that there, because you had the option of hit that, destroy your race car, hang a right to get away from it and wreck who's ever next to you, or do what the 8 car did and go left to go around it. Now you're in the grass and he spins and wrecks and ruins his day again. So, unfortunately, yeah, we don't want it to be easy out there, but I think the track was just too narrow at that point to be able to have that curb out there, or that turtle, whatever you want to call it out there.
TJ?
I hate to do this, but I mean, I kind of agree with Brett. I like having boundaries, and if you pave it, they're going to use it. And they've made the curbs now so, I know this doesn't sound right, but turn 4 or whatever at Sonoma, if you hit that thing, you knew it. It was like
it upset your race car.
You're 3 feet in the air with the right side. You knew when you hit that thing, and you knew you couldn't drive over it. If you would have drove over it with the center of your car, they would hit it with the right sides, and they were good at doing it. Those guys were good at hitting that curb, popping the right side up, and making the corner sell. Now, if you would have ran over that thing with the lefts, it wouldn't have messed their car up, but just the way the corner was, nobody ever really got over that far or ever had that issue. But if you... I like making them earn it in there. If you just make the track this wide, there's not challenging. They're just they're wide open through that kink. How challenging is when you're wide open?
Yeah.
How hard is it?
I mean,
I hate that it tears up the cars.
You guys to see, but it really, I would understand it if it was on the inside and you can cut the track, or in that section, they weren't gaining much by doing that. You know what I mean? It wasn't like they were, blowing through there and running out way wide. It was a half a lane to the left of the curb. You know what I mean? So it wasn't like they had all this runoff room where they were just blowing through the corner and running way wide. And it was super narrow. If you had a shot looking back from turn 7 back towards 5 and 6, the track was super narrow there. So, I mean, any time guys came through there too wide, it was going to cause a problem.
It's a road course.
What's wrong with it is we destroyed all the race cars because they were driving over it.
Well, that's their fault.
Yeah, I mean, the track doesn't drive over the race cars.
So like I said, all their option was going to be, which we dealt with this later on with that ramp, was you either wreck the guy next to you, go left, wreck yourself, or drive over this thing and wreck yourself.
Or figure it out beforehand who's going to lift.
That was awesome, too.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, but
that's fine.
If guys keep overdriving turn 1 at Martinsville and hitting the wall, we're supposed to move the wall out further?
No. That's not even relatable.
I mean, chicane's a chicane. I mean, you're
neither's having a baby and winning a race, but Doug Coby made it relevant.
I mean, they run Monaco in Formula One cars and make passes and it gets close. But if the driver knows they're there, one guy has got to live. It's risk versus reward, and there's a lot of risk when you go in there too wide. Oh, well, I'm on this side. I probably shouldn't be over here. I should have lifted back here, or I need to have better position on that guy where I can move him to the left before I get there.
There's a lot of good stuff.
So you're gonna. So if your guys, if you're too wide, if you're too wide, and the guy's a nose ahead of you with a little better run coming through turn 5, you're going to tell Joey, you better get out of there because
I'm not going to tell Joey anything. I'm going to let him figure it out.
Okay.
And let him make the decision on
And
it.
would
That's
he,
a lie.
and
You're going
he
to tell
would?
Joey to block.
Joey would lift at that point.
I don't know.
Nah.
I mean,
No chance.
that's the thing, though. That's what makes the racing great through there. Is this guy going to lift or is this guy going to lift?
I don't think the racing suffered at all Sunday versus Saturday.
No caution was called for the lap 77 restart when multiple drivers hit the turn 6 curbing, spreading debris, and Martin Truex Jr. spins before the field came back through and wrecked. Oh, Brett would like to call on Freddie. Spot on, spot off.
I mean, just unacceptable. It's, now listen, race control here is different than race control anywhere else. They cannot see the racetrack. And it's any road course really, maybe except for Sonoma. So they're relying on TV cameras. They're relying on corner spotters. So I don't even know who it was. Maybe the 21 or somebody rips their entire
right front nose off.
Nose and pan off, and it's flying to the grass. And that ended up in the grass, I think. But I could see before we went yellow there, the camera was getting ready to. They were zoomed in on something like the TV camera, and then it switched to another camera, and you couldn't really see. They claimed that the curb wasn't the debris slid off in the grass. They felt like the track was clear, we could continue, and the curb was not damaged. Not damaged badly, if at all. Well, that's can't be the case because as soon as we came back through there, the 24 ripped his radiator out.
Yeah.
And then that's when he ripped, when he hit that and just sprayed water all over the racetrack, that's why everybody just went piling in behind him. But I mean, where are the corner spotters? Where's the guy that's looking at this curb going, hey, we got a problem over here. This curb, we should have known beginning the race that there was a problem because I think it was a 38 very early, lap 2 or 3, ripped his splitter off on it. And there was a gap there at the bottom of it. And that was the biggest problem. It wasn't the height of it, I don't think. It wasn't anything but the fact that it built a little bit of gap. And then as guys hit it, it got worse and worse and damaged it more and more and more until the point where it looked mangled. When they finally pulled it off, it was mangled. We couldn't continue to race with it. But, I know they can't see everything, but, you've got these corner spotters. And if you don't have enough, get more. That we can't go racing back through there and have a guy tear the whole pan out of his car and dump water all over the racetrack because the curb's damaged.
So
and that wreck took out a bunch.
And I mean, potential injuries.
That's a $2 million wreck.
Joey pounded the wall. Thank God those tires were there. I mean, he hit a ton.
The 20, it got a bunch of them.
I'll tell you the scariest part about that wreck was for me. I saw the 20. I'm like, all right, go to the right, go to that. And then we went off to the left.
Yeah,
and
because you're on ice.
And then we hit the tires, and I didn't even get a chance to ask him he was okay because I saw the car. I was sitting here and telling him, don't do anything. Brace yourself. There's more coming. There's more coming. Brace yourself because there was more cars sliding towards him, and I was worried about someone else hitting him in the door because he was wedging them tires, and the door was kind of exposed. 37 got kind of close, but you don't know where guys are going to end up at that point. But no. I was literally telling him to brace himself. There's more coming, and that was nerve-wracking to me. But yeah, I don't know. Spot. We have like we were talking about back in the day. Our cars back then could handle curbs more so than you could. If you hit a curb back then the wrong way, it folded the front valence under a little bit. They went down there, they jacked the car up and beat it back out. Now we're so low to the ground. There's more problems with our cars hitting curbs than Indy cars, and you would think Indy car would be like, wings missing, things like that, and it's just tough situation. I mean, we're getting so low. Our guys, our engineers have figured out how to get these things so low all the time for max grip and max speed. And I don't think these are new challenges that we're coming up on that we haven't really had before. So it's going to be a learning process on what we can use.
If we ran valences yesterday instead of splitters, is this as big of a problem?
Probably not.
I don't.
Because that's all everybody tore off. I saw 4 splitters with the belly pans attached to them sliding through the track.
So is this something, I know this.
Did William Byron do something wrong?
No.
Is it because
I really don't think
where, so. Is it where that it wasn't as much of an issue in the Xfinity Series race, or was it just the way the cars are set up?
Cars, the Cup cars are just planted on the ground. They're on the ground.
slot cars.
I'm gonna tell you what, they better get it figured out because that car next year ain't gonna take a pounding like these cars now.
So if William Byron didn't do anything wrong, then he should get an apology, right?
Yeah.
From who? The track?
I don't know. I mean,
NASCAR or somebody. Should somebody issue an apology?
Listen, the simple fact of the matter, I think, is there should have been either a camera or a spotter over there that says, hey, we got a big problem over here. This curb is tore up. Which obviously the curb was tore up worse after the wreck, but
yeah, but
it was definitely worse than it had been all day, or else the damage wouldn't have been done to the 24 like it was.
Yeah, so 18 or 19, whoever went through there, I mean, like they hit it and you literally saw debris go up
that was
everywhere
the 19 a lap before.
In the air. The 19 goes in there and just, I mean, to me, you have a problem that is getting worse, and then they finally fixed the problem when they hooked a tractor to it and towed the curb out of the way. But, man, that's an expensive wreck. Anyway.
I mean, we've used these things before, and we just haven't had this issue yet. So
I don't know that we've ever used metal curbs like that.
Yeah,
I mean, a lot of times it's like built into the racetrack. I'm assuming. I don't know for a fact, but I feel like all the other curbs are kind of built in. Asphalt, whatever it is, and they paint them. But I felt like this was a metal curb that could be removed.
But if you had in that same area all them turtles, they wouldn't hit them. They wouldn't use them.
So are you okay with them taking out the ones in the beginning that we all everyone ripped the pans and stuff off with splitters? Are you okay with leaving the other one that people would jump,
in my notes, I said they should have took it out when they took the curb out.
So what do you put there?
Nothing. For 2 laps, let them race.
Are we allowed to cut it? How far is too far?
The grass would be too far. Don't go too far. I'm serious. Because what happened? I think that's the next topic we're going to talk about. But you leave that giant ramp there, and guess what? The 34 runs it over and destroys it. Wrecks a bunch of cars.
Well, let's go into that next.
But whose fault's that?
I mean, he drove over it, yes. But I mean, you could prevent these guys destroying race cars by getting rid of these ridiculous curbs.
So we're supposed to take away the walls too? I mean, Brad backed it in, and we're supposed to take away the wall between turns.
McDowell didn't mean to do that. I talked to him on the plane. Like I don't remember exactly what happened. Like he got loose and something happened, and he was like, "Uh-oh!" I mean, all hell broke loose.
That's my point. Like I get it, but I mean, the penalty is way too severe for the offense. If you blow a corner, you make a mistake, now your car's destroyed?
It's supposed to be challenging.
Okay.
We've always said these things are too easy, right?
Yesterday was awesome.
Because they're challenged. Anytime these guys get challenged, it's a good show.
That's the best race I've seen all year.
I just think that the penalty don't fit the crime there. What if you get shoved into it? You know what I mean? Like it's out of your hand. Like that's we're going forward here into topics we're going to talk about, but like the penalty don't fit the crime where you just destroyed hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of race car because maybe somebody shoved you off or you got loose at the wrong time. Like,
that's no different than a guy getting loose at a track and hitting a guy and him back into the fence and his day's done. Yeah, it's no different. A mistake's a mistake.
I guess, but
there's just more.
But you can't. You're not going to obviously take a wall out. This curb.
But the wall's going to take the car out.
You could make it smaller. You could do something that it's not going to – there's a ramp that got cars flying through the air, landing on other cars.
And it was exciting.
So if you take everything out there, we take everything out.
I'm not saying for the whole race. I thought just with at that point.
You're leading. I'm second.
Why you got to be leading?
No.
Why you got to always be
leading? I'm second.
Oh, yeah. Freddie, you're leading.
You're leading, I'm second.
But TJ's still going to come out on the other end of this better.
You dang right, because I'm just going to go into that chicane a little bit harder. And nothing's there. I'm going to knock you through it, so you get a stop and go penalty. I'm going to win the race.
What do you mean?
If you take everything out and you cut it, if they want a chicane there, it's not a straightaway.
He let you have the lead, but he won the race.
I know, but
I'd punch you through there. Nope, your car's not tore up.
I'm saying if there's almost.
Are you still as happy?
There would be, in my mind, there would be no penalty. Like there's no out of bounds there for 2 laps, whatever. Like just let these guys go nuts because I'm not saying you should have done it all race.
We did nuts. We did nuts well yesterday.
But I mean, we've already seen all day long what chaos is going to happen in that section, and you've got guys potentially injured, destroyed millions of dollars worth of race cars because of curbs that you placed there. Like for green white checker, hell with it. Just let them go.
I liked the turtle shells, and I'm fine taking them out though too. But I do think you need something if you're going to have a chicane and there's something there. Look, there's a risk.
And I'll tell you what you can do is track limits. We see this all the time with other series.
Well, that's what I'm
IndyCar.
saying. I knock you off. You
but
exceeded
I'm just
the track
saying,
limits.
like,
I win the race.
Yeah, you could. That's a way better idea. Okay, if we cut the corner, that's a stop and go. Or
So you're going to be okay with that?
If you have track limits, yes, then the penalty fits the crime. You got to stop and go because you blew this corner. You got loose and or whatever. But now you're destroying your race car, potentially hurting a driver because he cut a corner. No, I'm not down with that.
All right.
Well, like Bubba did. Bubba made the best call, though. Bubba didn't destroy his car. Bubba knew better and swerved around that
But he
stuff,
still got a
Penalty
penalty.
for
Okay, let's keep going on the same topic.
which I still think is the best move of the race, though. Bubba not destroying his car doing that. That was
Turn 6.
very heads up.
Turn 6 curbing completely removed except for the ramp for overtime restarts. Spot on, spot off.
I mean, that's what we just talked about.
Yeah.
Spot on. They had to remove the curb because the curb was way too damaged to continue. Which, do you agree with that? I mean,
Yeah, you got to take some. If it's destroying, you got to take it out.
But if you agree with that, then shouldn't we have just avoided it?
I mean, it was coming apart. It was ripping race cars.
But
apart
shouldn't
like
we have
that.
just stayed off of it then?
It was having an issue.
I know, but shouldn't we have just stayed off of it?
I'd like
Track
to send a thank you letter to whoever left that curb out there that
big one?
long.
Yeah. My favorite part of
Because
this
you took out William Byron and you took out Joey Logano. Thank you, Mr. Curb Guy. I love you, and I hope I see you again next year. Put the curb
buy you a drink.
hashtag put the curb back for 2022.
Wheels, I thought was funny. He said, they took the turtles out and that ramp. He's like, that's a big turtle. We just call that a tortoise. He's like, what is that one over there? But
No, I don't think a tortoise. That's bigger than a tortoise. I mean, I don't think you go that high when you hit a turtle.
Best thing that happened on my Sunday was that curb.
I mean, I don't know. You just see it again. Like we talked about. You have another huge pileup because of that one turtle.
I loved all those pileups.
that they left there.
Those
sure
pileups
you
were
did.
epic.
You're spot on everything this weekend.
That's a coincidence.
So, TJ, you are spot on removing the curbing.
I mean, it was coming apart. It was an issue. So, that to me, if it's coming apart, it shouldn't be there. So, I'm fine with it being there to begin with. But when it has an issue and it's tearing up race cars and it's malfunctioning, not working properly, I think it's okay to take it out.
On the same subject,
The ramp was working great.
Jesus.
We love our presenting sponsor, OfferPad. It's the easiest way to sell your home. Go visit them today and select the NASCAR tab on the How Did You Hear About Them section.